This is the Grundig 750. This is about the best picture I could find. I really like doing reviews of radios I have, so that I can actually, point to things on the radio and stuff like that. But I don't have this radio, and I'm really looking to get this radio. One of the things I'm thinking about doing is, since I've set up my Amazon store and I'm getting a small commission from purchases by my listeners, and the plan is to take that commission and buy some equipment to do a review. So this is the one thing that I put on the list because I've always been interested in this radio. I like it better than its predecessor, which is the 800. And it's going to take a while to get that kind of commission, but it's on the list, and I probably will get some smaller things before that because this was a little more expensive. But anyway, here's the radio. Just a quick overview of what's on the front panel here. The dimensions of this radio are about 15 inches wide, so we're over a foot wide. It's about 7 inches tall and about 6 inches deep, which is about 3/4 the size of the predecessor, which was the 800. The 800 was really a bulky radio. It's almost like they wanted to make the biggest portable radio at that time when they came out with the 800, because I don't understand why it had to be so big. And it's big. It does have a nice big display, but it just takes up a lot of room on your shelf or your desk. This is more reasonable size. Like I say, it's about 15 inches wide. And it's basically got most of the features of the 800. Okay, starting over here is an earphone jack or headphone jack. Next to that is a line input jack. So you can use this as an amplified speaker for like an MP3 player or something like that. And it does have a nice big speaker, and from the reviews I've seen on the internet, the quality of the audio is quite good. Okay, down here we have audio controls. We have a bass control and a treble control and the volume control. Going all the way over here to the right side, we have an RF gain control, which really comes in handy if you're using external antenna and you got a strong signal coming in and it's overloading the radio. You can turn the gain down and prevent that overload. Typically, 99% of the time, especially if you're listening to shortwave, you'll have this cranked up to max. Below that, you have a squelch control. And then below that, you have a BFO. Now, this radio was kind of in the era, I think it was like in the 1980s, or early 80s, where radios were going digital. And when they went digital, they eliminated the need for a BFO. So radios during this time frame typically don't have a extra or BFO control that manually allows you to tune in a signal that's a single sideband signal on shortwave. What the other radios in this time frame did is they had that done automatically. So as you were just tuning the frequencies and you had selected either upper sideband or lower sideband, it did the BFO, beat frequency oscillator, function for you. Again, since I like radios with lots of knobs and plenty of control, I like the BFO feature. It's nice to have. Sometimes it can be a pain, but usually I like to tune those knobs. That's plain and simple. So anyway, so that's the BFO control. Here we have the various selection of either the antenna, I mean not the antenna, the frequency band, whether you have it be a wide band receiver or a narrow band, whether it's single side band, upper and lower side band. And over here you can select the ATS function, which I'll talk about later. Select where it's AM, FM, shortwave. And here it has the feature that I really like in newer radios is the capability of punching in a frequency. So if I know the frequency I want, then I can just punch it in, do a direct tune, and I don't have to use the tuning knob to tune up to it or tune down to it. So I really like that feature in a radio. Up here we have the light button to turn the light LCD lights on, the backlight for the S meter, and associated buttons for the 2 alarms that are built in that you can set, and using this button for a snooze button on your alarm. There's a nice big analog type S meter. I prefer analog as opposed to digital. So I like that. Power button, a sleep button. I like that feature where you can push that button and set a time of when you want the radio to go off. In 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. And then you can fall asleep and the radio will be turned off when you're asleep. I use that a lot. And an antenna attenuator. Again, if you got an overload, you can reduce the input signal to the radio, prevent it from overloading. Big tuning knob here, button down here for setting the step rate at which it tunes. On the top up here, this is a rotatable AM antenna, kind of a nice feature. And this is a telescopic antenna for shortwave and air band and FM. So that's kind of the overall features. I'll go into more detail next. Okay, here's a spec sheet, just a single sheet flyer. Kind of gives you an overview of the radio and a picture of it. And I'm going to go into some of those details now. Okay, here is the, let me go back up to the top. Here's the manual for the 750, Satellite 750. And a company called Eton, not sure how you pronounce that, apparently has bought the rights to these radios in the past couple of years. But they still allow Grundig to put their name on it because that's what they're really buying is the name. So if you look online now to purchase this radio, you most likely will find it under the name Eton. Okay, so this is the manual for it. I always like to find the manual, look at the manual. Gives me a little more, gives you, me, whoever, more details about the radio. Now, for instance, here's the features, and it shows you exactly what bands it will receive. Shortwave, 1.7 megahertz to 30 megahertz with single sideband. Long wave, AM, FM, aircraft bands. That's kind of a nice feature to have that aircraft band. I don't think I'll ever use long wave, and AM and FM, of course. Has 100 station memories. Has this rotating AM antenna, as I said before. Has 24-hour clock and a dual alarm clock, as I mentioned. Line in and line out. Okay, let me see what kind of details we can find. Okay, power sources. Can be powered by 4 D-size batteries, or, and included it says, 6-volt AC adapter. Now that I really like, because typically on a radio this size, which is, like I say, it's 15 inches wide, I call this a desk radio, even though it's called a portable radio, and it's called that because it's easy to pack up and move it, and it doesn't weigh a lot. Typically you'll put this on your desk or your nightstand or something, and therefore you want to run it off of AC instead of using up batteries. So it's good that they include the AC adapter. Yeah, let's see what else. Volume control. Okay, here's the specifics of the bands. Receives FM from 88 to 108 megahertz. Okay, receives AM from 520 to 1.7 megahertz. Long wave, 100 to 519 kilohertz. Again, I don't have any use for that. Shortwave, 1.7 megahertz to 30 megahertz. And aircraft, 118 to 137. So pretty good selection of bands. AM, FM, shortwave, long wave, aircraft. Got about everything you wanted. Here's a little bit of information about tuning a single sideband signal. Again, it tells you that you need to use the single sideband BFO knob to fine tune on the sideband. Here's you talking about using the keypad to directly input a frequency. Here it tells you about the tuning knob and the step button, so you can change the granularity of the tuning knob. It does not have 2 tuning knobs like some radios do, where they have a coarse tuning knob and a fine tuning knob. This one has 1 knob, and you push that button to select whether it's going to tune it quickly or is it going to do it slow, so you can fine tune it. I like having the two different tuning knobs. Tells you about the 2 separate sets of 500 memories and how to use them, how to store in memory. Again, this file is online. It's a PDF file that I found online. And then this radio has what's called ATS, or Auto Tuning Storage Memory Storage. Well, it's actually auto tuning storage. And what that does is you can select a band, go into this mode, and it will automatically tune that band and store the strongest signals it finds, and then you can go back and review what it's found. Kind of a neat feature to play with when you're first looking for things to listen to. Talks about the alarms. Got 2 alarms. Here's the timer. Again, I really like this feature in a radio. It's almost a must-have as far as I'm concerned. It enables you to set this timer, and then the radio will automatically turn off once that time has elapsed. Okay, I think most of this other stuff. Oh, it does have, which is really nice, it does have on the right side of the radio 50 ohm BNC sockets for FM and shortwave, so that you can use, so you can easily connect a external antenna. And it also has a black and red socket for a long wire or a dipole antenna. So you got pretty good choices on antennas. I think that's about, yeah, this is just details, specs. So let's go on to this page. Now, this is eham.net website. And one of the things they have on their website is reviews by the users of this website. And again, like the reviews on Amazon, it can provide some interesting information, some details about the radio that are not presented in the manual, of course, about problems with the people have found with the radio, or features that they've found about the radio that they like. So, for instance, this particular radio, which is the Satellite 750, excuse me, there's been 40 reviews. The average rating of those reviews is 4.1 out of 5. Pretty good. And then you can go, like I say, you can go to his website and you can review those radios, and it'll give you some more detailed information about people that actually have this radio or had this radio and what they liked or didn't like. And this is just the first page. And I won't go into any details here, but that's a good place for information. Okay, the last thing I want to show you, which is kind of in the form of an advertisement for my Amazon store. Now, if you go to this store, let me back up one page here. If you go to this store, here's my main page, and you select item, and you go to Amazon. While you're at Amazon, by going through that link, if you purchase something, I get a small commission. And then the concept is that I'm going to accumulate those commissions in the form of a credit, and then I will purchase some equipment for a review. For instance, this radio, and I'll click on it. So we just click on an item here. Okay, there shows you more details about that radio, the description, the more details of the radio itself. Here's a nice picture of the antenna connections. There's your two B and C connectors and your long wire connections. And then the other thing it has in a concise form is the reviews of people who have bought this radio. So if you have already decided you want this radio, you can click on Add to your shopping cart. It'll take you to Amazon. You'll have this in your shopping cart. You can purchase it. And if you do that, I get a small commission. And I definitely would appreciate it. And people have been doing that. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, though, is what I do to get to Amazon from here, so that I don't lose that link, I select the customer reviews down here. So it doesn't put it in my shopping cart. And also, there's no additional cost. In other words, by doing this, it doesn't add any cost to what you would have paid if you just went to Amazon directly. So there's no additional cost. What Amazon does is they take out of their profits a small commission to give to the people who are what are called associates. Okay, so we'll click on that. This shows you the page of reviews, and you can go through and read all these. But this is a pretty long review here. Pretty good review, at least as far as content. Okay, then you can come up here, and it will take you to the product. So here it is. As I say, Eton bought the rights or whatever to Grundig's radios, and so now they're putting their name on it, even though you can see in this picture, or might be able to see in this picture, it still says Grundig on the radio. And the other thing that kind of caught my eye was the price. I did some searching on the internet about this radio as far as purchasing it, and this is by far the lowest price, and it was on Amazon, of course. And I saw websites that had it priced up to $400 and some. So if you're interested in purchasing this radio, Amazon's definitely the place to get it. Let me see what other kind of maybe. Here's the back of the radio. Here's a zoomed in version. We can zoom it in a little more. Not sure what those connectors are for. It looks like audio connectors. There's your B and C connectors on the side for the antennas. And then there's the radio. So anyway, that's the review for today. Again, I really wish I had this radio. I did attempt to contact the radio ham club, local radio ham club, to see if anybody had one of these that I could come over and have them demonstrate it for me, but was unsuccessful. We'll pause for my weather station to tell me what the temperature is. So that's the review for today. If you have one of these radios and you want to provide any comments, I would appreciate it. And just send me an email or post a comment on YouTube, and any information you could provide, I sure, plus or minus, the whole idea of these videos is to share information about radios, both amateur radios, shortwave radios, and scanner radios. So that's the show for today. Thanks you for watching. Bye-bye.